Ramaphosa says Mamoepa's death is a great loss to the presidency and the government at large. Mamoepa's last official appearance was with Ramaphosa when the deputy president attended the inauguration of Lesotho Prime Minister Tom Thabane last month. The ANC, Thabo Mbkei Foundation and many others have sent the condolences to Mamoepa's family. Mamoepa was in a Pretoria hospital for several weeks before his death, suffering complications after a stroke. He was a spokesperson for the ANC from 1994. Mamoepa was a well-known figure in media circles, having communicated the views and comments of various government ministers. He was jailed in the 1980s as a teenager on Robben Island by the apartheid government. He worked for various government departments, including international relations and home affairs.
It came as a shock because we spent the entire day with him and trying to make sure that we gave him the best medical care that we can offer to make sure that he's alive. As from today, this afternoon, as you could see, the people are arriving. That we'll have a prayer session this afternoon at about 3:30 until about 5. And as from tomorrow, Monday, that we'll have a prayer session from 6 to 7 on a daily basis. And we will announce in due course, probably tomorrow. If not tomorrow, it will be Tuesday morning. And in terms of the memorial service and the funeral arrangement. And so those are the two important the dates that will be announcing fairly soon. That we are still doing all the logistics, working with the presidency and different departments, the government to ensure that those particular logistics are addressed.
His brother says he will always remember Mamoepa's good sense of humor.
He was a good man. He was humble. He'll always be there whenever his services were needed. Whenever there was help that was needed, he will do that. Even to people that were closer to our family, he would help wherever he could. Yes. He was a very humorous person. He liked jokes, and then, some of the jokes, he will even remind you of things that happened when you were still young, before you even went to prison, and then he'll tell you, remember when you were young, this is what you used to do, and I say, hey man, grown up now, man. Wherever he was out of work, he liked to be humorous, and then he liked company of people who would make him laugh.
Right, our reporter Offenses Stimo Jones is now live on the line from Centurion. A very good afternoon to you, Offenses. Thank you so much for joining us. You were at the house of the late Mamoepa earlier. Lots of mourners arrived to pay their last respects to the family. Tell us more about that.
Yes, there's definitely a hive of activity here at the Mamoepa home in Centurion. We've seen a lot of delegates, a lot of diplomats actually come in. We saw Bheki Cele, and we also saw the deputy president, who is actually still here. He was coming to console the family of Ronnie Mamoepa following his untimely death. We hope that as he comes out, we'll definitely get an opportunity to sort of speak to him. As you can see behind me there, he's just saying his last goodbyes just before we can actually interact with him. But what we can definitely tell is that Mr. Mamoepa has been described as someone who's been dedicated to his work, who was a family man, who had a huge sense of humor and made everyone just feel good about themselves and never look down on anyone. So it's not yet clear how the funeral arrangements are sitting, but it will definitely take a few minutes before we know what's happening. Yeah, so we're just waiting for the president right now, who's actually going to tell us just a statement, because he's definitely worked with Mr. Mamoepa for a very long time at the presidency there. We're just definitely waiting for that to happen.
And how is the family coping with the loss?
Well, the family at the present moment is coping pretty well. It looks like the president is coming now, so we're just going to try to get a few questions with him following the untimely death. Thank you so much for your time.
No, thank you. You're most welcome.
Thank you so much. Can you give us a statement? I understand you worked with Ronnie for quite a long time. What's your statement? Sorry for your loss as well.
Well, thank you very much. This is a great loss for many of us who worked with Ronnie for a long time.
Of course,
for a long time, who knew him from way before his days in government. I worked with him in the ANC before unbanning, and through unbanning then into government. and he worked in a number of ministries, and in my case now he became my spokesperson as deputy president. Ronnie was larger than life. He was one of the greatest communicators that you could ever wish for in government. His knowledge about communications and government and how it works was expansive, and he was an easy communicator. He was friendly to all the journalists that he had to work with, and he was a people's person. I can't think of a single person who had any negative disposition towards Ronnie. Ronnie was loved by everyone, and he was good at his work. He was very professional, and he was a person who had a great vision about how government communications should work. So for us, this is a great loss, and for me personally, as he was my spokesperson, this is a great loss. It is going to be difficult to fill Ronnie's shoes.
He was remembered among the journalism circles as someone who fed journalists with a lot of drumsticks when he was still at the at the Department of Foreign Affairs. What are some of your fondest moments with Ronnie?
Well, you know, Ronnie was a very talkative person. When you were in his presence, you would hardly ever fit a word in. And even as we were flying around, he always made sure that he kept you entertained with all sorts of stories. And he was very expressive. He would use his hands, and in order to drive his message home, he would even stand up. Even when there was no need to stand up, even if you were just two, he would stand up and almost seem like he's addressing a rally, and use his hands to express whatever. And so he was very engaging and very enthralling as well, but also extremely knowledgeable about everything. And Ronnie was very direct as well. And the one thing that I loved about Ronnie is that he was honest. He was a person of integrity. And if you ever wanted a person in communications of integrity, that was Ronnie. He was not a spin person. And I think he always told it as it was, with a nuance if he needed to put a nuance to it. But that's how Ronnie was. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time, Deputy President. Thank you so much. That was Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa explaining to us what a knowledgeable and dedicated employee Mr. Mamoepa definitely was. After working with him for such a long time, he also expressed some of his fondest moments, saying he was a very talkative person who made sure everyone was kept entertained whenever he was in their company. Straight to studio.
All right, Offensa, great chatting to you. Thank you so much for your update. That was a reporter, Offensa Stimo, speaking to us live from Centurion outside the home of the late Ronnie Mamoepa.